Back with the Yay Trees mug. How good? Well, welcome back to another video here. Now I've made my coffee and I've done my parkour to get in. Wanted to talk about coffee. Now if you missed my video from last week on 3 ways to reduce your carbon footprint, I'll put that in the video somewhere. But today, I want to talk about coffee. Something I've been dealing with a little bit at work. We are a coffee shop and we're trying to reduce we're trying to increase our sustainability at work, and in doing so we've been looking at coffee. And as a coffee shop, most of what you do is what we're trying to do is to reduce the amount of cups we use, to take away cups, which is great. It's all well and good, but I've been doing some digging, and about 70% of the environmental cost of making a cup of coffee, the environmental damage associated with making that cup of coffee, comes from the production of the beans themselves. Which got me digging a little bit more and more and more. And coffee production is increasing. With a greater population, we're obviously increasing how much coffee we're drinking as a global population. And the growth of the coffee is the most important thing we're looking at here. And primarily the issue of growing coffee is removing forest, is deforestation. Habitat loss is pretty much the #1 cause of extinction worldwide. Habitat loss through agriculture, through you name it, deforestation. It's a really key environmental factor that is associated with reduction things like biodiversity, animal welfare, all these other things. So deforestation, it's estimated that per year more and more people are drinking coffee. They need to clear 100,000 hectares of land in order to keep up with the demand for coffee, which at the moment most of the deforestation that's occurring is happening in Africa and South America. South America grows a lot of beef, and recently there's been fires in the Amazon for land clearing, but coffee has its effects too. So I just want to talk about what you can do at home in order to make yourself more sustainable, make more sustainable choices with your coffee, because it's pretty important. And it's pretty important considering how much coffee I drink. If you've watched my videos of me cycling, you'd know it's pretty much the first thing I do every morning is make myself a cup of coffee. Normally at home I drink instant coffee. It's quick and it's easy and it tastes like coffee and gets me started for the day. Now, instant coffee's got a couple of other extra processes in order to extract the coffee flavor from the beans. So a typical process is you'd make a brew like this, and then there's various heating and cooling in order to get the freeze-dried granules, which you end up with. So it's a whole other water laborious process. So to start with, instant coffee is out, in my opinion. Not the best idea. The next we have at home is we have a coffee capsule machine. I don't use it. I really don't like the idea of it. But looking into it a little bit more, it's not as bad as you might typically think, especially if you're using ones which can be recycled. I know Nescafe has a program where you can send back the spent coffee capsules and they will recycle them apparently. There's also now coming out some aluminium ones which you can put your own grounds in. And the good thing about a coffee capsule is the amount of energy it takes to heat the water. It's a flash boil. You're not boiling a full kettle in order to make 1 cup of coffee. It's a flash boil, so it's pretty energy efficient as far as the final consumer process of making the coffee. It's not as bad as you'd think, provided that you're recycling the capsules. If you're not recycling the capsules, then you're in trouble. So what about normal coffee grounds? Seems the best option in my eyes, but equally still damages associated with ground coffee, obviously. So based on what I'm looking at is there's a few different factors to consider. A is whether your coffee is shade grown. Shade grown is typically how Arabica coffee beans are grown. This means that there's less deforestation associated with growing your coffee crop because they do need shade, often coming from taller canopy rainforest trees. If it's not shade grown, you're looking at mass clearing of areas in order to set up a coffee plantation. So within that, you've got shade grown, and there's also issues of using pesticides and fertilizers on your soils can lead, especially fertilizers, can lead to loss of soil quality. It can change the soil pH, which really affects everything that's going on with all the microorganisms within the soil. So you want to be choosing an organic brand of coffee, ideally. Reduces pesticides, keeps the environment clean as you can. Next, there's a few different badges, I guess, certifications you can see on coffee. And there's a few. There's Fair Trade, there's Rainforest Alliance, Smithsonian Bird Friendly. These are the brands and the certifications that you want to be looking for. Fair Trade coffee has a footprint on looking after the people who are growing your coffee, more in the sense of fair prices, fair work hours, in which case you're looking at, as a consumer, paying more for fair trade coffee. But there's also a business sustainability that comes with fair trade, is they're looking after farmers. They're trying to keep the production going in that area for as long as possible. So based on that principle, they are going to be running a sustainable business. They are going to be caring for the environment, especially if they're organic too. To me, fair trade seems one of the better options you can pick. As I said, there's Rainforest Alliance, which focuses more on habitat loss, maintaining biodiversity while still growing coffee. And then there's Smithsonian Bird Friendly, which is again more looking at diversity, particularly of birds, of rainforest species across the world. So what am I drinking right now? This seems the best option. It's a cheap option from Aldi here in Australia. It is about $4 or $5 for a 250 gram bag. It's organic, it's fair trade, and it also comes from Papua New Guinea. Most of coffee production comes in rainforest areas, so Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Ethiopia, South Sudan, all these areas, as well as South America as well. As an Australian consumer versus an American consumer, if you're in the US drinking coffee, you'd be wanting to source your coffee from South America in general. Here in Australia, if there's been coffee grown in Papua New Guinea, really should be making an effort to choose that. Not sure if there's coffee grown in Australia. There might be a little bit up north in the northeast, up in the tropics up there, up around the Cairns region, in the Daintree and rainforest there, but to be honest, I'm not sure. So that's my take on sustainable coffee. There are choices you can make at home which will enable you to look after the environment a little bit more. I'm not going to buy instant coffee again. It's a shame. These kind of things take a little bit more effort to make you brew, to get you out of bed in the morning. But that little bit of effort can translate into pretty big change in how coffee is grown, looking after the environment, and also the people who are growing our coffee. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you've got any comments, any questions, please let me know. If you've got anything you want me to talk about in the future, then please do let me know, because we're on this journey together, guys. And all knowledge should be shared, and I'm all about that. So if you've got anything you want to let me know, please do. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. Yay trees, yay coffee.